Hello, welcome to the pre-registration presentation for the 2013-2014 school year. We want next year to be fabulous for you, and that begins with a great schedule. You'll want to listen closely. A correct schedule hangs in the balance, and we want to make certain you have everything you need. There are several issues to consider, and we want to make sure you're aware of each of them. You may be wondering if pre-registration forms really matter. They do, and there are several reasons why. The master schedule, which is the schedule we create with classes listed in specific blocks, is based on what you write on your pre-registration form. We work really hard to make sure there are as few conflicts as possible. For example, if several students write on their pre-registration forms that they want to be in both AP English Language or Pre-AP English and Advanced Drama, we'll do our best to make sure that those are not scheduled at the same time. If your form is not accurate, we may create conflicts for you simply because we didn't know they existed. When possible, we make space in classes based on the number of students that select a course. If you don't have a course listed on your pre-registration form, there may not be space for you in the class. Making sure your pre-registration form accurately lists the classes you would like to take is critical. So what classes should you take next year? As you see from these lists, there are several courses you must take in your sophomore and junior year. Each year you need Bible, English, and either World History or U.S. History. You may have applied for Honors or AP. If so, you'll hear whether or not you were accepted into those classes on March 22nd. This is true for all AP and Arts classes. If you applied for Abundant Life, Living Faith, or KHS Live, you'll hear back on March 25th after auditions. Please do not turn in your pre-registration form until you know this information for certain. The same is true for math. Recommendations will be emailed home on March 22nd. If you have any questions about the math class that is the best fit for you, don't turn in your pre-registration form until you receive the recommendation. Again, an accurate form is extremely important. When you're deciding what electives to include in next year's schedule, don't forget to include graduation requirements in your selection. You need 2 credits of a career concentration course. This includes all technology, business, and marketing classes. You need 4 credits or 2 years of Spanish or an outside foreign language. If you're taking language outside of King's, just keep in mind that it must be 2 years of the same language. You need 2 credits of a fine or performing art, and 6 credits or 3 years of math and science are required for graduation. However, we highly recommend that you take 4 years of each of these, as colleges around the country are looking for strong academic candidates who include additional math and science in their course selection. Keep in mind that chemistry must be included as one of your science classes. When pre-registering for next year, you'll want to consider the courses you plan to take your senior year as well, and what prerequisite those classes require. For example, if you know you want to take AP Biology your senior year, you must make sure that anatomy is part of your junior year course selection. State colleges in Washington require that you have a math or algebra-based science, which is chemistry or physics, in your senior year, unless you've taken pre-calculus. If math and science are not your strong subjects, you'll want to look ahead and make sure you can meet this requirement. It might mean that you save chemistry for your senior year. If you have any questions about what the right course for you or the best progression might be, stop by and talk with Mrs. Young or Mrs. Neild. When choosing courses, make sure you look closely at the requirements and prerequisites. Here are a few. As mentioned earlier, if you applied for Abundant Life or Living Faith, you'll receive information regarding admission on March 25th. If you're in Abundant Life or Living Faith, you will need to participate in choir during the term you are not in Abundant Life or Living Faith. Math recommendations will be emailed to all students. You must pre-register for the math course you are recommended for. If you want to take a class other than what you're recommended for, you need to see your math teacher or counselor for a waiver, and you may be required to take a placement test. If you're admitted into AP English Language, you must be in the AP Language Review in the Spring Flex Block. This makes certain you are prepared for the AP test in May. On the back of the pre-registration form, there is a list of classes. All of those that have an asterisk next to them have a prerequisite. Be sure to read course descriptions that will be included in an email home this afternoon if you have any questions about what those prerequisites are. Let's take a minute to talk about filling out the pre-registration forms. To begin, you will choose between the required courses already listed, for example, between English 11 and AP Language. You'll need to fill in all of the elective spots available. Include math and science, remembering to look ahead to your senior year. Will you take math or an algebra-based science in your senior year? This may guide your selections for 10th and 11th grade. Also be sure to consider what you still need for graduation. Have you had a career concentration course, Spanish, a fine art? You may have space for several of each throughout your high school career. All of the courses or options are listed on the back of your form. The most confusing portion of the pre-registration form is classes that are during flex and only run one half of the year. You may not have any of these. Your flex block class may run all year long. If you choose courses listed in the box on the back of your form, you will need to make sure you have a fall class and a spring class listed on the same line. This is a sample of the box on the back of your form. This is classes that are offered during flex and run half a year each. For instance, film is a flex block class that you can take either during flex in the fall or flex in the spring. If you choose film for fall flex, you might choose a class like choir or leadership for the spring flex. This might be confusing, so let's take a look at a few examples. This student circled Bible 11, U.S. History, and AP English Language. Their elective choices are pre-calculus, anatomy, drama, Spanish 3, and marketing. In line 9, this student decided to take SAT Power Prep for fall flex and AP English Review in the spring flex. These courses must be listed on the same line. If they aren't listed on the same line, you will have a flex class for only half of the year. Here's a sample where a student doesn't want any classes that run half the year long. One of the courses they choose here will be run all year during the flex block. Here is a sample of a sophomore schedule with no half-year flex courses. Here is a sample that does have half-year flex courses listed. The last line, line 9, film and SAT prep are listed on the same line. As mentioned, this presentation, along with descriptions of each class, will be available through a link being emailed home today. However, there are a few new classes we want to highlight. For students who want to continue taking math but find that math isn't their strongest subject, we're now offering Intermediate Algebra 2 to follow Intermediate Algebra 3 to follow Intermediate Algebra 2 or Regular Algebra 2. This class will offer Algebra 3 skills, but allows for extra time and step-by-step instruction. This may help you in planning for classes to take your senior year, which will have a direct influence on the courses you take now. CAD, or Computer-Aided Design, introduces engineering and architecture through 3D computer models and designs. AP Physics is a college-level course that investigates the world of physics and prepares students for the AP Physics exam in the spring. World Cultures and Religions is an elective course offered for underclassmen. Students will gain an understanding of nations in other parts of the world, including cultures, geography, as well as religions and philosophies like Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism. This is a research-based low homework class. Pre-registration forms must be turned into the main office by Wednesday, March 27th at 3 p.m. If your form is late, you will be registered last for classes in May. All application decisions, including honors and AP courses, will be emailed home. Please wait to turn in your forms until these decisions have been made. This will make certain your pre-registration form is correct. Math recommendations will also be emailed home on the 22nd. Please make sure that this is the course you registered for or that you have filled out a waiver form. Although we do our very best to create a schedule that meets the needs of all of our students, we can't guarantee that you'll get all of the electives you request. An accurate pre-registration form is the best way to help. Be sure to pay attention to the parent signature, student signature, and clause at the bottom of your pre-registration form. Just a reminder, a link to this presentation along with pre-registration forms and class descriptions will be emailed home today. Please review these slides, and if you still have questions, make an appointment with Mrs. Neild or Mrs. Young. We're happy to help with planning or clarification, so be sure to stop by anytime. Have a great day.